Greetings, I'm Hellena Pugh, a Marine Corps veteran and the host of your 5-Minute Salute. Today I have with me Chuck Wald from Virginia. Chuck, welcome to our show.
Good to be here, Atlanta. Thank you.
So Chuck, tell me, how did you become a member of our nation's military?
I was in ROTC in college. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do in my life. It was toward the end of the Vietnam War, and there was a lot of interest in America of what the war was all about. I had a couple other opportunities. I had a pre-law degree, and then I also got drafted by the Atlanta Falcons in football. But I went to flight school and went to the Air Force and enjoyed it, and I decided to make it a career.
Excellent. So what do you do today?
Today, I'm the Chief Executive Officer for a company called Robbins Gioia here in Washington, D.C., suburb Alexandria. Robbins Gioia has been the primary management tool. We have an algorithmic tool we developed 26 years ago, and we do the management, scheduling, and planning for all the work at the Air Force aircraft depots, aircraft and engines, in 3 major locations, 250 aircraft a day and 40,000 people, 50 million functions. So we've been doing that for 26 years, and we're getting ready to redo the product, and we're in the process of doing that now.
Excellent. So it seems like aviation has been a huge part of your career.
Well, I was a pilot for my entire career. I flew up until my last day in active duty. And then I came out, I was the executive vice president for L3 communications at the time here in Washington for global development. Then I went over to Deloitte as I became a vice chairman for international aerospace and defense for 10 years. And then I was with a person you probably remember, Jim Jones, used to be the Commandant of the Marine Corps, as his president for Middle East, North Africa Advisory Services. And then I've been here for about a year and a half.
Okay, so now when you were transitioning from active duty into a civilian status, what were some things that you learned or experienced that you want to share with other veterans?
I think the biggest thing I learned was that you're not in the military or the government anymore. You're actually working for, unless you're working for a nonprofit or sometimes in the educational arena or others. But if you're in the regular business world, the issue is not national defense so much, although many businesses care about that, but it's really about bottom line. And you've got to figure out what the objective is of the company is, and usually the objective is making a profit. And the people you're working for are the people that are going to assure whether you make a profit or not from the standpoint of their willingness to keep you on as their provider. So it isn't like the military where it's based on rank, although there's a structure in the corporate world as far as the positions you hold. But the big thing is to realize that the companies you work for, generally speaking, when you come out, are profit-interested companies that want to make a profit. And that's what your focus is for success. And of course, there's ethics still involved, and you still got to be a good person and follow the laws and the rules and develop relationships with the clients. But it's a bottom line business, so don't forget it.
All right. So before we wrap up, I really want you to touch on this topic for me. So obviously, recruiting this year is a challenge for all of the services. But for the young person who doesn't understand or realize what it takes to become a pilot, but maybe they have a desire to fly, what's some advice you can tell them about how to stay actively prepared and ready? Because a lot of the people that, don't know about the military, especially young people, they go and they get tattoos on their neck and all these other things, and they don't realize there are so many barriers, to their future, because they want to do what's cool. But if you're looking to serve in the United States military, if you want to become a pilot, what's some advice you would give the young person so that they don't, arbitrarily mess up their opportunity before they've even had a chance?
I kind of think you wrapped it up there a little bit. There's certain things you can or can't do. I mean, if my feeling was I grew up in North Dakota. North Dakota is a nice state. It's small. There's not a lot of great opportunity there from the standpoint of business because it's mainly a agricultural state. But you want to give yourself opportunity, I think. You never know. I mean, at some point you grow up in your life and then you say, gee, I wish I had thought about some of these things before I got here. So I would say don't put yourself at any extreme risk of any way, rather even how you appear maybe from the standpoint of giving yourself a shot, because you're going to want to have that at some point in your life. And if you've eliminated some of those opportunities by your behavior, that's too bad and it's short-sighted. And so even when I was younger, I watched, I wasn't a mamby-pamby, but I watched the rules. I knew what I could and couldn't do. I wanted to have a life and a career. Number two is a lot of people join the military for different reasons, but one of the biggest reasons a lot of people join is because you can get an education and you develop a skill set that you can market on the outside if you decide not to make it a long career or you just do it for a while. But that's a great way to actually invest in yourself in the future, is through the GI Bill and the fact that you both get an education while you're in the military from the standpoint of a skill set, but you'll also have the wherewithal to go to college and have it paid for. You see all these people that are hoping for college loan debt relief. It's a big issue right now, and I can understand why. But with the GI Bill, you get your college paid for by virtue of how much time you spend in the military. That is a huge recruitment issue that we should never forget, and we ought to be emphasizing every day.
You're absolutely right. I like to remind our veterans, though, we had the GI Bill, but I think I was part of that last class of the actual GI Bill. That was about 2008. Pretty much by then they were phasing it out. So today's people, they actually get the post 9/11, which has some different opportunities with it, but it's still the opportunity to go and get your education and not be saddled down with a bunch of student loan debt that you have to pay back. So you're absolutely right.
One other thing on that point, thanks for correcting. It's still the GI Bill to me, but it's the post 9/11. I get it.
Still have the GI Bill.
What's even better is that you can transfer that to your family, which we couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, and so if you decide you didn't want to use your whole GI Bill, you can let your children or your family use it, for that matter, for spouse, for that matter. It is a really good.
Yeah. When I came in, they were giving people that we were really the first class that was getting the choice. Did you want to stay with the traditional GI Bill? Did you want to go with post 9/11? And post 9/11 was free. We paid into the GI Bill. And I had so many people who were saying, I don't know why you're doing the GI Bill. You should be doing the post 9/11. I said, I'm doing a GI Bill because that's the one that I've known since World War II. This post 9/11 thing is still new. And then obviously, like you say, going in as an officer, the post 9/11 is really geared towards someone who's getting their bachelor's. Is not geared toward those of us who already had a bachelor's and wanted to seek our master's. So that's where choosing the right educational plan was right. I don't think they give them the option, though, anymore. I think the GI Bill is over and they only have the option of the post 9/11.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's good. I agree.
So many schools now have come up with yellow ribbon and other ways to help substitute the difference in the educational cost. So really, if you serve your nation, you should not, be walking away or saddled with a lot of unnecessary educational debt unless you just took it out on your own. But getting an education
I can guarantee you that the benefits for the U.S. military. I mean, you're not going to get rich working in the military,
right?
But there's a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
And our people, the military people, are taken care of by our country better than any other country in the world. It's a good place to go. It's a good place to learn a skill set. It's a good place to learn discipline. It's a good place to learn how to work as a team. There's a lot to be said for it, and we're forgetting about it in our recruiting. We need to up our game in that.
You're absolutely right. I just think today's individuals, they have different focus, so they have to go at them in a different way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Things change. People get flexible,
Things definitely change, but
So,
hopefully they take the opportunity to see some of these interviews that myself and tons of other veterans are running and talking about, hearing really the positive sides of the military, because that's not what they're getting, unfortunately. So prayerfully they'll see these interviews and some of the podcasts that other veterans have done and really desire to serve their nation, because at the end of the day, I'm a Marine. It's not about you getting an education or you getting a skill set. It's about defense of our nation. That's it. I'm a Marine, so that's our focus. You're going in
well,
because you want to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, and hopefully, they have that as a priority. And we're going to need that if we, taking a look at where things are going. We need people who are committed to this country.
yep. Well, I always tell our young people that work for me, if you were an athlete or never competed in sports in any way, which a lot of people do, not everybody, but the objective was to win and succeed and be proud of yourself. If you want to be an All-American on the first team in the professional sports, the U.S. military is the first team, period.
Yeah.
You're an all-star. And if you want to be part of the first team and the best team in the world, join up.
That's right.
Because that's what you're going to be.
Well, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you for being here today and allowing me the opportunity of interviewing you.
Thank you, Hellena. Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us for this week's 5-Minute Salute. To learn more about today's guest, you're going to click below in the description and see the notes that link to his company information. I want to ask you to render a salute of your own by liking and sharing this video. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you next week. My name is Hellena Pugh. I am the founder of ZaharaVets Network. So I started ZaharaVets Network because as I transitioned out of the military in 2012, I was encountering so many challenges with my transition, and I realized that there really wasn't an organization that spoke definitively to the issues that impacted women veterans, but also I encountered other male veterans who were having very similar issues to which there really wasn't an answer. So I started the organization so that I can provide information for other veterans, but also put us on the path to start providing those services that weren't being offered.